It is the new year, 2020, and today is the great review recording day of 2020. So expect to see several reviews today, / tomorrow, / whenever I upload them. But uploading's the easiest part. Because I can literally do it from my phone. First review of the day. First review of the great review day of 2020. Great review day, January 2nd, 2020. The animated film Klaus on Netflix. I'm gonna pull up a picture for it so you can get an idea of what the movie looks like, because the art style is a big part of this movie. Basically, it's a Christmas movie released by Netflix that came out, I don't know, I think November. But I watched it on a drive home. I watched it on a long drive home for Christmas. And honestly, I was blown away. I mean, there's not much in the simplest form. I was blown away. And I'm not going to spoil it at all, because I went in literally knowing nothing about the plot. It's actually a funny story. I had heard about this movie, and kind of what drove me to it was not anything to do with the plot. It was to do with the art style. A while ago, it was either like last summer or maybe even the summer before, I read some Reddit thread about the movie. I'm not sure if this was... It was just a concept at that point. And basically, the idea is it's made by a former Disney employee, former Disney animator from the Disney Renaissance era, and it's designed to be like it's the bringing back of 2D animation, like classic Disney 2D animation. It's still done with like computers, but they've designed it to look like, I don't want to say like a Disney Renaissance Disney era movie. I'd say it's more like the 2D animated films of the early 2000s. Stuff like Treasure Planet or Emperor's New Groove. Treasure Planet, even like DreamWorks stuff like Prince of Egypt. Very specifically the Emperor's New Groove. It looks very Emperor's New Groove-ish. And it has that early 2000s, late 90s Disney vibe, which is a distinct vibe from current Disney and a distinct vibe from, like, Beauty and the... Well, I guess Beauty and the Beast was late 90s, but, like, it's a distinct vibe from, like, Renaissance era Disney. It's more like Tarzan and stuff like that. I'm gonna pull up a picture. Klaus. I was pulling up Google while... But let me show some images from the film. Okay, that's not an image from the film. Klaus. Let me add movie. No, I can't type. Should have done this before I hit record, but here we are. Here's some images. This is the poster. Badoop. 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 Like, look at this. Does this not scream Emperor's New Groove? So it's got this beautiful 2D art style. These static images don't do it justice. It really is a beautiful movie. And of course, being 2D animation, earns some mega Reddit points. So the Reddit thread was just everybody gushing over how cool it looked. But I didn't realize, like, even taking that aside, if this had been a 3D animated movie, I still would have loved it. Like, the animation is not something bolstering an otherwise just okay movie. I've never really had a Christmas movie, like a movie that I watch every year at Christmas that I want to watch. I don't really like Home Alone that much. I don't really like Elf that much. The Will Ferrell shtick gets tiring for me. I haven't really seen a lot of that, like, Christmas Story. I think I've seen that, like, once. I just don't really have, like, a Christmas tradition movie. Honestly, the Christmas movies I watched the most as a kid were the Tim Allen Santa Claus films. Those I liked, but those are also not super great movies. They appealed to me as a child. This movie, so basically, I never had like a Christmas movie I'd be willing to go back to every year until I watched Klaus. The whole time I was watching it, because I had my like bad car headphones on in the car, trying to listen to it. One of the speakers in one of the headphones is kind of busted, so it was like crackling a little bit. And I was just sitting there thinking, I love this movie so much that I need to watch it again next Christmas or some other time with good speakers on a TV, and not on my phone. Like, I was just playing Mario Kart, and then I came down here to record, and they're still playing Mario Kart. Sorry. My little brother's just still playing Mario Kart. But, Klaus is just... It's an incredible movie. It's hard for me to talk about. Basically, the main character is very Cusco-esque. That's why I very specifically Emperor's New Groove. The first scene the main character is in, he's like lounging around. He's this rich, spoiled brat a la Cusco. And he literally, his name's Jasper. He literally like gets up and he does like, in the scene alone, I don't know why I'm standing up to replicate it, but he does, because I can't replicate it, but he does like 5 different body movement poses that are literally look like they were ripped from Cusco. Like his build is like Cusco, he talks like Cusco, he moves like Cusco. It's really weird. And then he meets a character later in the film that he bonds with, and the bond between the two is very Cusco Pacha. So the whole movie, and if you know anything about me, you know I love The Emperor's New Groove. That's like peak filmmaking for me. So to see these very Emperor's New Groove reminiscent vibes was really appealing to me. But you may think that sounds a little weird for a Christmas movie, but it works. Like, it's not like Emperor's New Groove in terms of the way it's written and the comedy. It's just the characters are a little similar. The movie itself has a lot of heart, more than The Emperor's New Groove has. It's got the appropriate amount of heart because there were moments in the movie where I was like almost to the point of tearing up. It's just like it's a Christmas experience. I feel like it's the first movie I've seen that has the appropriate feeling of Christmas that I would want from a Christmas movie. It's essentially a Christmas origin story, or like an origin, like a fictional origin story of the myths surrounding Christmas, and more specifically Santa Claus. Hence the title Klaus. And the ways they bring in more and more Santa Claus elements is so cool. I just loved like seeing these scenes that was like, okay, wait, what's happening? Oh shoot, this is how this came around. It's a completely unique story too. And of course the beautiful 2D animation just bolsters it. It feels like a classic animated movie. There's a vibe that I get from the animated movies of the 2010s that they're just like a little less complex. And I mean, I'm sure some of this is because I've gotten older, but a lot of the children's films of the 2010s, even from big studios, like even from studios known for doing really complex kids movies like Pixar, their movies just feel a little more like simplified. And some of it's that art style that all the movies, it's like just a little more like ease of access. Don't have to think about it too hard. Plot moves in a very stable rate. There's not a lot of information to digest. There's no real feeling of adventure or discovery. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to describe it. And I get some of that from Klaus, because it's like, I mean, it's not that long, but like a lot happens in it. There's a lot of plot ground to cover. And I was like thoroughly invested in the story the whole time. And towards the end, it does a cliche that like so many kids movies do. And that's probably my one issue with the movie is this cliche felt a little forced. Take a couple guesses, you can probably guess what it is. And it's forced. It's the one down spot on an otherwise incredible movie. The voice cast is great. It's funny. It's a very funny movie. Even the villains are funny. The bond between the characters is so strong. It's hard for me to even say anything more about it. But it's just like the perfect Christmas movie. It's got heart. It's got humor. It's got these like really great moments. It's got these great rich characters. This really interesting setting. And of course, just beautiful animation. Like, it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix and you like Christmas movies or animated movies or anything like that, you have to watch Klaus. I genuinely I'd be glad to watch the movie every year. I look really disheveled right now. I guess I haven't really combed my hair or anything. And review day, everybody! Hop out of bed and record reviews! Ah! But, yes, kicking off the new review years. I gotta come up with a pun for this. Renew renew. What am I saying? Klaus is great. Watch Klaus. It's the best Christmas movie ever. Easily. No contest. No other Christmas movie even comes close for me. I'll probably watch it every Christmas from now on. Watch Klaus. Watch Klaus.